The Greener Services Hack Day brought together people passionate about the delivery of more sustainable services from right across the public sector and our supplier partners too. The aim of the day was to test out a set of principles for the design and delivery of greener services that we'd sketched in DEFRA, and then get feedback on how these could be iterated and evolved.
We wanted to take a really practical and collaborative approach to helping DEFRA develop the principles, and so we decided to run a hack day. Typically a hack day is where you bring people together and they make something, and so we really wanted to bring that maker's energy to this mission. We wanted to try and learn about what people need to apply planet-centred thinking in their work by applying the principles to a real service challenge.
The service that we chose for this task was the current one for documenting and moving electrical and electronic waste in the UK, otherwise known as e-waste.
We took the self-organising principles of an unconference and we allowed people to pitch their ideas for how they wanted to green the e-waste service, and then self-organising teams around those different ideas.
It was a hybrid event. We were lucky enough to have over 70 people join us in the room and online as well, from a range of roles and backgrounds, whether that be development, architecture, design, research, data, policy, or various different leadership roles. This multidisciplinary aspect of the gathering was really important to us. After all, if the design and delivery of services is a multidisciplinary team sport, then so must be the design and delivery of greener services.
We were asking people to take a day out of their busy schedules, and so making the event feel really engaging and giving people the freedom to explore the topics they're interested in and apply their expertise in the way that they wanted to was really important.
The first iteration of the Greener Service Principles was sketched about 18 months ago by a self-organising working group made up of designers and researchers in DEFRA. This working group came together as we were increasingly worried about the environmental crises facing the planet, and also conscious at the same time of the goals being set at national and organisational levels around carbon footprint in particular, but also environmental impacts more broadly. What we really wanted to understand was how our work as practitioners on service projects could help contribute towards the realisation of these goals.
Shifting the way that we design and deliver services is going to be a huge task, and I think we're going to have to do the top-down and the bottom-up work at the same time. So the top-down work of figuring out what the big levers are that government has to implement change, but then also the bottom-up work of bringing practitioners together, taking practical action, helping people share knowledge and understanding, and building a bit of a community around the principles.
Today was exciting.
Collaborative.
Stimulating.
Thought-provoking.
Inspirational.
Insightful.
I want to say insightful.
Very informative.
Really creative, forward-thinking.
Interactive.
It's been very inspiring and thought-provoking, I would say.
Community. Passion.
I'm torn between energising and sustaining, so I'm going to cheat and say both words. It was very energising, and I feel like these kinds of things where we can start to think more creatively about our practice with people who share the same interests feel like they really sustain us in the work.
On the Hack Day, we gathered an amazing range of different ideas, proposals and thoughts, both on how we might evolve the principles, but also around the challenge of delivering greener services more broadly. Analysing these will take us some time, and we will be producing a report to try and capture this. Beyond that, we will use all that we've learned and heard today to evolve the principles into their next iteration, to evolve and develop the community around this work, and hopefully to do more of these sorts of events going forward.
I was really blown away by the outputs from this day. At the end, there was a discussion and it was just so rich and deep, and I think where people got to with this stuff it really surpassed my expectations. But that also has a lot to do with the people who came to support us, and we're really, really grateful to everyone who showed up, and particularly to some of the experts who've been working on this stuff for a really long time. For them to come and share their knowledge was really generous. So yeah, just thank you to everybody who came.
So for me, what really excites me about this is it's the timeliness. I think finally people are waking up and realising that we have to take action on the sustainability of digital services, or services in general. And so I think that the stakeholder engagement and the fact that we can now start to make progress and have meaningful conversations is what's really exciting me at the moment.
I've learned that I'm not alone trying to do things more sustainably, and it's very encouraging, and it's really nice to see different bodies and different people from different disciplines trying to move the needle and move forward and trying to create a better digital world.
As somebody who, I'm very excited about delivering digital services in government anyway, and always looking for, ways to do that as well as we can, and in the best, most user-centric, and now the most sort of planet-centred way of thinking about delivering those services and those digital services. It's just really exciting stuff, and to be at the kind of forefront and the kind of almost the cutting edge of that is certainly very exciting.
As designers, we have such an impact that we are creating things. So what excites me about days like this is how we can think about our impact, think about how we make things, and start sort of breaking that down. And things like principles help guide that. So yeah, very much excited, and had a great day.
I think the main takeaway from the hack today has been that there's so much passion from all of the people working across government to improve sustainability. We just need a way of working together.
So I think I have two main takeaways from the hack day today. I think the first is that there are lots of people across government interested in making the way that we deliver services to users more sustainable, both for those users and for the planet, and that feels really positive and encouraging. And the second is probably one about the way that we integrate the principles by which we assess the services we design. And I think sometimes, because we want to make sure that we're designing things in a way that absolutely serves users, we rightly have to codify that. But today I've come away with the feeling that actually there's a little bit of scope for us to make sure that the way that we're assessing the things that we are building can also change and develop as the needs of our users do, and as the needs of the planet are moving as well.
For me, I think the biggest takeaway from the hack day is actually starting to use these principles. Yes, they're still work in progress, we know that, but it's been really nice to actually apply them to a project. It was a challenging project to apply it to, but it was good to go through that exercise, have those discussions and put them to the test. Yes, there's lots which we've learnt, which can be applied to improve them, but we've started, and that's great.
New connections with people from across departments within Gov, but also outside Gov as well. Learning and being closer to the principles, how that they've been built, and then some of the underlying statistics of why we need principles of this nature, the impact that our day-to-day email, phone, electronic use has, the footprint that carbon footprint that has, and yeah, just some stats that I'm going to take away and utilise in my day-to-day.